lies so long that we believed that the truth, we couldn't stand the truth. We talked about time. We talked about hustling time, or it's time hustling us. We talked about how we spend it, how we waste it, or do we invest in it in time. Insecurity, uncertain, anxious. Are we filled with insecurity, or are we content, or are we satisfied with it? We talked about that. Today, I want to spend some time on me. I'm going to spend probably the first 30 minutes of letting you guys know a little bit about me. Probably a whole lot in 30 minutes. I'm going to try to get it in. Because I just don't believe that I should stand up here and talk to y'all about certain things and y'all not knowing that these things I've been through myself. You know, so when I talk to you about certain things, it's because I've been through them, and including homelessness, including being homeless, because I have been homeless, and as I tell my story, you guys will understand that, and you will see that. But I was born 5 brothers and 2 sisters, actually 6 brothers, because I was born a twin. I have a twin brother who was born mentally challenged. And I'm going to kind of start around that area because first it was just me and my sister Robin and my twin brother, so that's 3 of us. And there was us, and I was young, and everything was cool, you know. And then I never had a father. I have a father who lives right down on Same Street, but he's never been there for me. So I still stop by today and see him and holler at him, but he ain't never did nothing for me. But then came along a stepfather, and with a stepfather came more children, more kids, and that's where my brothers and my baby sister came in at. And at that time, I started getting jealous because I wasn't getting attention anymore. So I was about 10 years old. I broke both my legs. So I went to the hospital. They said I was going to walk again.
You broke both your legs?
Yes. Somebody jumped on my back. I weighed about 90 pounds.
Yeah, I know that.
I was 9 years old. I broke both my legs. I stayed in the hospital for a year and a half with my legs in contractions because they really didn't have the septum bones of the calf back then. They would leave your legs hung up in a contraction like this, and I laid on my back in contraction for a year and a half. The only time my legs would come down is when I had to go to the bathroom. So as time went on, I started growing up. I started becoming 12, 13. When I came home at 10 years, 11 years old, my twin brother was gone. My mom she couldn't take care of him. Like I said, he was mentally challenged, and I blamed her for that, and I was mad. As a young kid, I was very mad. And so as I got a little older, 13, 14 years old, I started running the streets. I didn't come home. If you didn't come in my house at 5 o'clock, you wasn't getting in. If you didn't get in the house before the street lights came on, you wasn't getting in. And I refused to go home. So I slept in pool rooms. I hustled in pool rooms. I ran for tip to get his chips and his coffee and his this, and I racked balls on the pool table. That's how I survived. And that's how I got my clothes to run to school. Because I was still going to school when I wanted to. So as time went on, I really loved basketball a whole lot. And so I wasn't getting no attention at home. So I decided, well, you know what? This is what I do. And I started playing ball every day. And people started liking me and watching me and clapping for me and this and that. And that's how I got my love. And that's where I got my attention, on the street. As some of us know, if we don't get it at home, we get more love on the street than we can get in the houses. Yep. It's just the way it is sometimes. And that's where I receive my love. I receive my love on the street, playing ball, stuff like that. And I met this, I had two girlfriends. each one of them that I really loved a lot, I had them each one for 20 years. My first wife, my only wife, she's my ex-wife now, my only wife was God sent. No, she didn't drink, she just was the greatest woman in all of the world. I'm just lucky that we're still friends today. I just can't say enough about her.
Well, you can't say nothing bad. That says a whole lot right there.
Yeah.
That says a whole lot right there.
Yeah, because I can't say nothing bad because I did that. I lost that. I did that on my own. I admit to that. She gave me 2 kids, a son and a daughter. My son and daughter loved me very much. But I packed my son, my daughter up, and my ex-wife, she wanted to move to Georgia. I packed them up. I sold everything in my house in my front yard. My whole house. I sold everything in my house. And I stacked the money like this. My kids back inside the suitcases like this. And we're on our way to Georgia. I get to Georgia, and when I get to Georgia, I meet these friends, these people. And mind you, I'm still drugging, I'm still alcoholic, and I'm still doing dope, crack cocaine was my drug of choice. So I get in Georgia, and here I am, I'm in Georgia, and I'm set up with everything. My ex-wife's job sent her there because she had this job or whatever, and we ran out of money. We stayed in a hotel, we ran out of money, and so what I do, I go into my hustle game. I started working for the hotel so we could stay there, because if not, my kids, we would have been put out. And so after that, the owner of the hotel gave me another job. I used to ride all over Georgia and get, now there was phone booths. I used to go and collect money out of phone booths. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of change in bags that I would have at the end of the day. So me, being a drug addict, I started peeping out these areas where I can get my drugs. So finally, for about 5 days, I didn't go back home. I stole the man's truck. I stole all the money out the phone booths, and I never took the man's truck back. And they had APB out on me. They were looking for me, but they couldn't find me. And when they found me, all the money was gone. All the tools in the truck was sold, and so was the truck when they found me. Fortunately enough that these people loved my kids and my wife so much that they didn't press any charges against me. So I got another job, still got my family. I got another job driving cement trucks where they put you drive this big truck with these things that the poop goes down in the ground, and what you call them? The big cement, the
septic tank.
Yeah, drop them down in the ground, and I would run back and get them done. That's what I did. I made good money. So this guy liked me so much, he sold me a car. And I stopped going to work and I stopped paying him for a while because I was chasing drugs again. Couldn't find me for 5 or 6 days. So what I did was I put myself into a rehab. And he came to the rehab and took his car. And I stayed in the rehab for about, I guess, 3 months. And as I was in rehab, we had this circle. And the guy started praying. And when he started praying, after about 5 minutes, I started praying. After about 5 minutes, my legs and my arms and my legs was doing all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? But I didn't know. I was blacked out. The people around me seen and knew what was going on because they were constantly praying. I didn't know what was going on. They told me that I was doing all of this, but I do know that when I sat down after it was all over, after those 4 or 5 minutes, I felt like I was in a race. And it was God trying to tell me to leave the drugs alone, that this is it. This is who you are supposed to be. But I didn't know I didn't know that. So I come back home. My wife, my kids, a trailer with a car on the back of the trailer, they in a U-Haul. As I'm walking up the driveway, they're leaving. The house is empty. It's empty. And they stopped. I looked in the window, tears coming down my eyes, kids crying. They're on their way back to home in Maryland where we used to live. So, after that, I came back home. But before I came home, I got a job with a guy putting drywall on the ceiling. He's paying me $100 a day. Right? I'm just a helper. I don't know shit. I'm just a helper. He's paying me $100 a day. So as I'm doing this job, I got this one room. In this one room, there's one way in and one way out. And at the top of the hill, that's where the dope man lived at. This is honest God's truth. The dope man lived there. So I would go there, get $100 worth of dope, and go to my room. Go on in, right? So, by the time Monday comes, I'm broke. Right? $100 a day, that's $500-600 a week. Time Monday comes, I'm broke. I goes up to this guy, and he starts to front me because he knows I got a good job. He see me driving my boss's truck down there. He started giving me stuff on the front, right? So this particular day, this particular week when I was supposed to pay him, I decided I'm not gonna pay this guy. So the landlord, I go buy my own dope, I go in, I know I can't come back out, because I know he's sitting up there waiting for me to come out. The landlord comes down and says that they got a hit out on me. So I'm in my room now, ain't nothing in my window but a fan. It's real hot, ain't no air conditioning. So I'm in my room, and as I'm sitting in my room, at nighttime I see people walking past my fan. I'm scared to death. I'm scared to move. I'm under the bed, behind the bed, I'm scared to move. The landlord came to me the next day, because I wouldn't come out. She came to me the next day, she said, do you have anybody that you can call? I said, yeah, I can call my family. She said, my brother Charlie Buck stepping, he can get me a plane ticket. I can get out of here if I can get to the airport. She came and picked me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, snuck me out of that room. I lay on the floor of her car. Wow. She took me to the hotel to the airport 2 o'clock in the morning. Wow. My brother already had me a ticket there, and I had to stay there until 3 o'clock, scared to death looking around, until 3 o'clock to catch my flight. So then I get back to Maryland. I come back to Maryland, I'm still doing drugs and alcohol, and I meet this guy named Simon Brown. And Simon Brown was a boxer.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Simon Brown went away, and I stayed at his house. When he came home, I cleaned up all of his garage and cut his grass and stuff like that. Mind you now, I'm still married with kids. We living in Germantown. But I'm staying in Simon's house because I'm trying to get some brownie points. I'm trying to do something. He asked me to go on the road with him. I go on the road with Simon Brown. I'm the second trainer and the third man in the court. I've been on ESPN 3 times. I've been on HBO twice. Wow. And I partied with the biggest of the biggest in boxing. Wow. Mr. T and Sugar Ray and Holyfield and Julio Chavez and all the Mexican crew. I partied with them all. When I say party with them, I mean smoke crack with them. They drank and they smoked crack even though they was athletes. They got high too. I just had to find out which one did and which one didn't. That was the hard part. But anyway, yeah, I did that, and that was a journey. But let me back up a little bit. After my ex-wife, I met the young man I told you about, the other lady I stayed with for 20 years. I stayed with her for 20 years. This is a little touching right here for me. So y'all just excuse me because I'm going to you. But I stayed with her for almost 20 years. And I was getting high. She knew I was getting high. And just a matter of time, she loved me so much that I started getting hurt. She started getting high with me. And when she started getting high with me, it seemed like that's all I did once I got her on that was to hustle and try to make sure that I had it for her, because if I didn't have it for her or for myself, for that matter, if I didn't have it for us, then we didn't get along. We fought, we just didn't get along. Two people on drugs and alcohol together, it just won't mix. If one is doing it and the other ain't, it won't mix, because of the simple fact that sooner or later, if you stay in the kitchen long enough, you're gonna get burned.
Hello, amen.
Or you're gonna start cooking on one or the other.
Wow.
So, anyway, yeah, I started getting this lady high. It's great, wonderful, beautiful, pretty. She started getting high with me, man, and when it wasn't there, we fought. We fought. When the drugs wasn't there, we fought. 4 o'clock in the morning, I was asleep, just finished getting high, I had nothing else to smoke. I was asleep, she was asleep. I woke up, and when I woke up, I had the fan like this. The fan was sitting there, and she couldn't breathe. And I'm scared to death. I don't know what to do. She falls back on the bed. I go to the freezer, I get ice, and I put it on her chest, and it looked like she had a heart attack. So I called 911, they came, and then she looked up at me and with them big, pretty, bright green eyes, and she said, "Al, I love you." And she never talked to me again. She never talked to me again. She didn't die. She had a massive heart attack and a stroke at the same time. At the same time, I love that woman so much. But I did this to her. I did this to her. And I can stand before you today and let you know that I loved you enough to know and let you know that I'm taking that. I did that to her. Did I kill her? Did she have a choice? I don't care. I did that to her. No excuses. No excuses. Drugs and alcohol ruined my life. My mom, we fought all the time. My relationships, great women, I ruined their lives. God give me opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, and I ignored each and every last one of them. I ignored each and every last one. Why I'm standing here today with you guys, I can only think of one reason, that's because we can do this. So we can do this. So, as time went on, Zia's in the hospital. I have Zita's bike card. I didn't mean to use her name. I have my girl's bike card, and I have my bike card, right? $2,500 combined, right? 3 days and $2,500 later, I'm sitting on a parking lot on Route 40 at the car wash ready to die. In the meantime, my girl is in the hospital staring at the sky and can't even talk. And before that, each and every day I was going back and forth to the hospital, back and forth to the hospital, until they put her in nursing home in Mount Airy. They put her in a nursing home in Mount Airy, and I don't know why, but I didn't pay my phone bill. I was trying to call somebody, and instead of calling somebody, I called 911 on myself. And the police came, And I just told him, I said, look, somebody better come or I'm not going to be here much longer. So the police came, put me in handcuffs, checked my pockets, made sure I didn't have anything, took my cigarettes, had a tall can of beer, and about $1.25 left on my card. And so the police took me to the hospital. I thought I was going to the hospital. But as I was sitting in the back of their car, I knew I was going somewhere that I said I would rather go to prison than go there. I was going to the psych ward. And I knew that's where I was going at. And that's where I went at. I went to the psych ward. And when I went to the psych ward, I stayed there for 3 days and I just like, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't want to come out my room. When I come out my room and I sit down, these people running up the table, sitting down, side me. I'm looking at them like, I'm getting ready to get another charge. So, anyway, 3 days later, the counselor comes in and she says, Al, what you want to do? Here my girl still is laying in the hospital, still alive. I said, what you want to do? I said, I can't leave her unless I get some help. I said, okay. They come back 2 days later and say, I would like to go to Colorado or some place far away. I said, no. I can't find, I need to find a place right here in town, in my hometown. I'm not going anywhere else. Because my girl's in the hospital, I ain't going nowhere. So I went and stayed for 1 year at the mission. At the mission, stayed there for 1 year. I actually stayed longer than 1 year because I stayed another 6, 7 months in the transition house as I was working for them as a staff member.
That's when I first met you.
Yeah, exactly. But before that, I was in class. I was taking a test. And I just felt something. I just felt something. But they let me take the test. Everything's over, class is over, and Carlton, the head man, says, Al, meet me up in my office. I said, okay. So I go up in his office, and he tells me, your girl's gone. And I was so mad at him because, why didn't you tell me that before I took that test? Why didn't you tell me that when it happened? Why did you let me sit there in that classroom? I was mad at him. But he thought he was doing the right thing. And he probably was. Because that was my perfect excuse to go get high. And that's all I was thinking about. That was my shot. But I had been there, it's been almost 8 months. So I went downstairs and I sat there and they came to me and people come by. They was praying for me and I probably cried all day long. And Carlton, he asked me, he said, what you gonna do? I said, I just want to be left alone. I'm gonna sit right here and I'm not gonna move. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Finally I did get up and I went to bed. And I woke up in the morning, I went to the chapel and I stood before the cross and I was mad at God. Oh, I was mad at God. I was mad. She had died. Just kept hurting people. And you know, when we get high, we say to ourselves, this is my life, I hurt nobody but me. That ain't true. That ain't true. My family loves me very much. Distance themselves. That's called tough love. When they had functions and stuff like that, I was there, but I didn't feel like I was there. Even though I went there, I didn't feel like I was there. You know, as addicts, we have a way of hiding stuff out here, but can't hide it in here. You know, so after that, she passed, and I graduated. And when I graduated, when I walked into this, we went up, it was at Strongtown Church, my church. And when I walked into the building, when I was graduating, all of my high school classmates were there. And I had no clue that this was gonna happen. My high school classmates, my friends, they all was there. And I told myself that I am the key speaker. And I told myself I'm not gonna cry there before I walked in the door. I didn't even get in the door. And I'm crying like a little baby. I'm so happy. My son is there, my granddaughter's there, my cheerleaders from high school, Faye and all of them, they were all there. It was just amazing. And then I gotta stand up here and do the speech. Wow. But what I'm trying to say to y'all is that you see all them circles that I went in and went through, look where I'm at now. Same place. We all gonna go through the darkness. I'm just saying because, you know what I used to do? When I was homeless, I used to go to the dollar store after running around town, getting high and trying to get free drugs, ain't had no money and stuff like that. I would make sure I had $1. I would make sure that, you know why? Because I would go to the dollar store. I would make sure that, you know why? Because I would go to the dollar store. I would grab a blanket from the dollar store and I would go out by the swimming pool in Baker Park, buy that green dumpster, right? A green garbage can. I remember like yesterday. There's a green garbage can right there by the swimming pool. I lay my blanket out and that's where I slept at, with my eyes open. So I was scared to death. With my eyes open. So I was scared to death. I was scared to go to sleep. But I didn't want nobody to see me. So I didn't want nobody to see me. I didn't want nobody to know I was sleeping on the ground. My body smelled terrible. You could smell, you could smell my feet through my shoes. I was so scared. I didn't, people would tell me, my mom's friends, they knew how I was living. They knew how I was living. They would want me to come in the house to eat. I wouldn't go in because I was ashamed of where I smelled. If I take my shoes off, and I play basketball every day, I'll take my shoes off. If I take my shoes off, you can crunch my socks like that. That's why I understand. I talk and I joke and I say shit, but I get it. I get it. Sometimes we have to play the hand we're dealt. We just have to play the hand we're dealt sometimes. All this stuff is running through my mind right now in all these places. And if I was when I was in Georgia, I was in places getting high that I thought I'd never be. I was getting high in places where nobody knew. I could be anybody I wanted to be. Nobody knew me, but knew my name but me. I could be anybody I wanted to be. And when I ran out of drugs, you know, people, they want to put you out. But these places I was in were so bad, they didn't give a damn if you stayed or not. I'm talking about with cockroaches, the frying pans, you look like airplanes. You could hear them out. You could be sitting in a chair, he'll hit the wall, bam! That's real talk. I ain't making this up. I'm not making this up. But today, by the grace of God, that's all I had left. I didn't have nowhere else to go. I had nobody else to call. I can't trust nobody. Or nobody trusts me. And I didn't blame them. I didn't blame them a bit. But I just kept pushing. I ran into the right person. And right today I got another one. A great female, great woman. Don't do none of that. And she don't understand how come I love her so much, and how come I stay up on her so much, and how come I want to do so much for her and with her. Because of what I've been through. Because of trying to make up for the ones' lives that I've ruined. I ain't never gonna be able to do that, but it's just the way it is with me.
How do we fix the lives we ruined, Al?
Huh?
How do we fix the lives that we ruined? You know, you
Well,
spend time trying to make up, man. And you can't never get caught up trying to make it up, man. Huh?
Yeah.
That's my conundrum.
Yeah, the only answer I got for that is, the only way that I know that we can do that is to start with ourselves.
And I have a question for that too. Put it in God's hands.
Amen.
Put it in God's hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's the only one. He's the only one that can save you from whatever you're going through. But this young man
Save us.
Yes, sir.
Whatever we're going through.
Whatever we going through.
Right.
Put it in God's hands.
Right.
Exactly. Put
Right.
it in God's hands.
But yeah, but I didn't mean to say your name.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's what we're here
That's
for.
good.
Yeah, that's good. It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But
Put it in God's
just
hands.
just put it in God's hands and you start with yourself.
Exactly.
And
I know
what
what
I
he wrestles with, Tony. I know what he wrestles with, man.
I know.
You see me wrestle with it every day, man.
I know, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You slip for a couple days, get back on the pole.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
God bless you.
I ain't perfect, but at that particular time,
Yeah.
they don't call them relapse, they said it's a lapse now. Well, I say 2 days was a relapse, so I told them I had a relapse. And, you know, I gotta fix myself first before I can fix anybody else.
There you go.
Amen.
That's the
There you
whole
go.
thing in the
Amen.
There you go.
Amen.
There you go.
Yep.
We-
As long as you recognize that and know that, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
And we see, the people, y'all guys, y'all go around, you say, hey, you want this? We give people stuff. You know why? Because our hearts are generally good. Genuinely, our hearts are good.
Exactly.
But you never know what other people, what we're going through out there.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know.
Yep.
You know, and if we can get ourselves straight, that heart that is already good will become even better
Hello.
and stronger.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I've always told myself I can't help nobody until I help myself. I've always told, and I couldn't go and help my son and my daughter. And right today, my kids love me to crazy.
God bless.
And it ain't no better joy.
Mm-hmm.
The grandkids and my nephews and they all doing great things. And they got houses built up from the ground and they got good homes, the big homes and the small homes. We all just get in there together and it's just amazing.
Yep.
It's amazing the things that we do.
You heard that?
Somebody,
I think somebody's at the door.
I would be.
So all, thank you. It's okay. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So all the things that we've been through and all the stuff that we try to help other people with in our hearts and the way that we grew up and all these stories I told you, I couldn't do a thing. I couldn't stand here today and be before you until I was able to take care of myself. I see you, like I said, y'all give each other stuff and stuff like that. And it already shows where your heart is. But you gotta get yourself out this mess. We gotta get ourselves out this mess before we can give anybody else any help. This story that I just told y'all, I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for the darkness. I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for the light. I destroyed, as you know, I destroyed other people's lives. One of them was a death. Right? One of them was a death. And I had to fight through that. Didn't know how I was going to do it. And that's why I went into that chapel. And that's why I sit there 5 days a week and I talk to God because I didn't have nowhere else to go. I didn't trust nobody else and didn't nobody what?
Trust you.
Trust you.
Didn't nobody trust me.
That's right.
Mm-mm. No. And that's why I took up sentimental and I said before you and I cried because it hurts. Every time I bring it up, it hurts. And I ain't gonna never forget it. But I'm gonna share it.
Hello.
so they can help somebody else. I just can't thank you guys enough for being consistent. Because if I can help one person, or if one person can help me, I'm satisfied.
Amen.
And he's satisfied.
Amen. Amen.
God put this on your heart for me.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
I was thinking about that the other day.
I love each and every one of y'all for this.
Amen.
I do.
And thank you,
About a round of applause for Mr. Al. A round of applause for Mr. Al.
All right, Mr. Al, you just finished sharing your story with the group. That was Friday night.
Real talk.
Real talk with Al. Okay. All right. How you feel after sharing your story?
I felt pretty good. I kind of got emotional.
Yeah.
But some of the people that were in there today, they felt what I was dishing out, and that's what's important: saving lives and trying to let other people understand that they're not in this alone. Mm-hmm. And everything that I spoke about, the homelessness and the addiction and the drugs and alcohol and the life and the death of others and destroying other people's lives. I'm just happy to be able to get that out there today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure your message touched each and every person that was in here tonight. What you shared, it was powerful, man. It's a great story, and it has the power to change so many different lives.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Did you want to talk a little bit about what you do here?
Yeah, God has put me in a place at the homeless shelter to come, together with other people who's been through some of the things that I've been through, and I've been here almost 2 years now, and I watch people come and go, and people like myself, addicts and alcoholics and homelessness and sleeping on the ground and all the things that I've been through, and I feel like I'm in the right place, in my life for the first time. I was in rehab at 60 couple years old, and in this short period of time, God has brought me a long ways, and now I'm here at the homeless shelter in Frederick County, and I'm just happy to be here, and I just want to keep on doing God's work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I believe you will. Keep on doing God's work, man. You're a blessing. You're a blessing, Al.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.